Hello, hello, and welcome back to Jewelry This Way Live.
It's Wednesday.
It sure is. I'm Brian.
I'm Drew, and we're JTW.
We sure are.
Look at that. That rhymed.
I love that.
Beautiful.
Man, we got more rhymes coming your way, but I ain't going to spoil it for you.
Sit down, get ready.
Yeah, you're not going to hear them today probably, but another day soon.
You never know when.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So follow those socials, you know, the grams and the ticker talkers and all that other good stuff.
All the places that you watch media content.
Yep.
We're even on Spotify.
We are.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
We're doing so many things.
We're even in space right now.
Brought
Isn't
to you
that wild?
live from space.
Live from space.
Hit us up, NASA.
You know why we're in space? Because I learned how to do that thing that every like TikTok influencer knows how to do, where they like cut themselves out and put it over things. I'm always like, wow, that's got to be difficult. How they do that?
What
And
is
it's like a
that?
click. So
We figured it out. We found the button.
yes,
Look at us go.
I'm
You should be
an
proud.
amateur video editor now.
I would say a little more than amateur after today.
Semi-amateur.
There we go. See?
So yeah, we're from JTW, jewelrythisway.com. And if you're wondering why two people from a jewelry company are sitting here and reviewing 80s movies, there is a reason, I promise.
Pinky promise.
Yeah, it's every single piece of jewelry that we make here is named after an 80s movie. And that means that we have named hundreds of pieces of jewelry after movies. And some of them we haven't actually seen. Actually, probably the majority of them we haven't seen.
Yeah, I would say a good chunk. So
Yeah.
naturally, instead of fixing that quietly like a normal company or even normal people, we are making a show out of it. Every Wednesday at 3 p.m. right now. We go live and we watch the movie behind the name. And we figure out why we named the jewelry that.
Yep. Sometimes we love the movies. Sometimes we hate them. Sometimes we just spend an hour or so going, how the fuck did this movie get made?
Those are the best, honestly.
Yeah,
I'm not going to
they really
lie. After the live stream, we do post all of the episodes on our YouTube and our Spotify, so you can catch up on anything that you missed or just review the ones that you want to watch.
Yep. We're in season 3 right now,
Can you
so
believe it?
you've got a bunch of content to catch up on.
You've done so many of these, and honestly, they get better every time.
They
We
do.
actually have slowly figured out what we're doing finally.
Slowly, yes.
Yeah.
But go check out that back catalog.
See,
It'd be
it's
really
fun.
cool to see some of these get like double digits in their views.
Yeah, like
Like
10
10 or
20.
11 would be cool.
Anything more than one.
But yeah, we're not going to stop doing this because we just genuinely enjoy it.
Yeah, this
and
is fun.
It's fun to talk out here as if like lots of people are watching and listening.
Plus occasionally you guys are watching and
Yeah.
listening, and then we get to talk to you about cool stuff.
It's true.
Great.
So whether you're here because you love 80s movies or you love body jewelry or you just think we're amusing and enjoy watching us argue about movies that came out 40 years ago, you're in the right place.
Welcome.
Yeah.
This
So
is the spot.
it is. Now's the time where we talk about what's been going on in the studio this
Yeah,
week.
what have we been up
been
to?
doing
We know
so
that y'all
much.
want to know. This is your sneak peek into the Jewelry This Way
It is.
workshop.
A lot of what we've been doing this week has just been a lot of background noise as far as programming a little internal computer system thing for us.
It has been.
But I did find some time to make some new displays coming up for the spoopy season.
Yes, we're getting
Yeah.
spooky season ready. Can you
Yeah.
believe it? And these displays are also spill proof, just like all of our
Always.
other displays.
Yep.
So
So
jewelry.
there's the original mixtape display, and those don't fall out.
Nope.
So now we got these little coffin shaped guys. There's also
And
some long rectangle ones.
We're
and yeah,
doing some new goodies to put in them.
we sure are.
We're not going to talk about that yet.
Not quite.
But if you come back next week, we probably will be.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
Oh, it's going to be so fun. You have no idea.
But yeah, those displays just hit the website last night. They're called the Crypt Keeper.
Ooh.
I know, spooky.
Crypt Keeper.
But yeah, go check those out on the website. They're available for immediate shipping. We do have some made, some back stock and stuff like that. So
They come in black and white, so
Yeah.
you can match your studio aesthetic however. Or I guess you could hit us up for custom colors on
you
these.
sure can.
I would love to see this in a bright pink.
Ooh, we can make
would
that happen.
be so fun.
Yeah, I might do that just for funsies.
Maybe a blurple for Leslie who loves blurple.
That's true. I hear you do love blurple, Leslie. Word on the street. And someone else really enjoys flesh and fungi together.
Ooh.
That's
That's
disturbing.
an interesting combo.
Anyhow,
Let's get to it.
let's go into watching this movie.
Of them is old, the other is not. Let's pop in the tape and give it a shot. It's time for Retro Reactions with Drew and Bryan.
Hey, we're back. Did you miss us?
Welcome. You know you love that little intro video.
Everybody does.
One of us is old. One of us is not.
Yeah, one of us is Drew.
The youngin'.
Yep.
Well,
Let's
welcome
kick it
back.
off. We're doing
This week-
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs, 1987. I am so excited. You picked this week, and I honestly didn't expect that at all. This
You
is
shouldn't have.
1987, directed by Mel Brooks, and it is the parody of Star Wars. And it really doesn't stop there. It also tackles Star Trek, Alien, Planet of the Apes, 2001. Pretty much the entire science fiction movie genre from the 70s to 80s. And the story itself is a little familiar. Evil empire, princess, rogue space pilot, mystical powers, giant spaceship. Yeah, everything you need to know for, sci-fi movies. But instead of treating it seriously, Mel Brooks uses the entire genre as an excuse to be absolutely ridiculous, which I love.
Yes. And that's what works about it, because it was like 80s ridiculous.
Yeah.
So like by today's standards, not that ridiculous. And it isn't one of those parodies where like they simply recreate famous scenes and then expect you to laugh because you recognize them. It's not just like member berries. But a lot of the jokes actually come from asking like what would happen if the stupid parts of science fiction were taken literally, like comb the desert, and like, okay, so they bring out some giant combs, jam the radar, and then it's like, oh, raspberry jam. It's really my level of humor. I'm not gonna lie.
I absolutely love it. I was very curious if this was one of the first like big mainstream parody movies.
I'm not sure, but we're gonna go ahead and say yes. This
I
was
feel
the
like
first
it
one that's
is.
ever been made.
It's the oldest one that I know of,
Yes,
at least.
yeah. This is pretty much the precursor to Scary Movie.
Which is it's great. I love this.
Right. Without Mel Brooks existing, the Wayans brothers could have never done what they did.
Never.
No, we would have just gotten more Medea movies out of Tyler Perry. So, anyhow,
Yeah.
this movie, it opens up and begins with a very Star Wars style, like opening crawl with, the words going on the screen and things. And then this enormous spaceship like slowly moves across the screen, but it just keeps going and going and going. And immediately it establishes that even the scale of Star Wars is going to become a joke.
The opening is perfect for that reason. Brooks tells you immediately what kind of parody you're watching. The original Star Wars destroyer reveal was impressive because the ship seemed so enormous. So Spaceballs kind of took that idea and stretched it into absurdity.
Literally. There's eventually a bumper sticker on the back of the thing, and that's one of the jokes that I love. You spend all this time watching what looks like the most powerful spacecraft ever created, and then suddenly it's basically somebody's shitty RV in space. Yeah, it's a good preview of Mel Brooks' style throughout the movie. Nothing is too important to make stupid. And I love that.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then, you kind of shift onto the peaceful planet, Druidia. Princess Vespa is about to marry Prince Valium. Her father, King Roland, desperately wants this marriage to happen. But Vespa kind of realizes that spending the rest of her life with the painfully boring prince may be worse than disappointing everyone. So she, runs away in her Mercedes spaceship with her droid companion, the Dot Matrix.
The Dot Matrix.
Vespa is obviously supposed to be kind of like Princess Leia, but she's not really written like Leia. She's spoiled, she's obsessed with her hair, she's dramatic, but she also knows exactly what she doesn't want, which I can love. And Prince Valium is a fantastic one-joke character. His entire personality is that he is so boring, he can barely remain conscious.
Yeah. And I like that Vespa rescues herself before anybody else rescues her. She doesn't get kidnapped from the wedding. She's just like, fuck this, I'm out. And then she just leaves. And granted, she immediately flies herself into a much bigger problem. Like, her initial decision was pretty solid.
Yeah, she did what she wanted to do.
Yeah.
Gotta respect that.
Absolutely.
And, she's got Dot Matrix, who's voiced by Joan Rivers.
Right.
I couldn't unhear it the entire movie.
No, my God, no.
And it basically functions as Vespa's like crazy overprotective chaperone, literally supposed to be C-3PO. And instead we get this robot who's constantly worried that Vespa's about to lose her virginity.
Yes. Very Mel Brooks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Next, we move on to Planet Spaceballs air problem, right? So President Skroob, am I saying that right? I'm so bad at names. I'm bad at saying bad.
I'm bad at speaking.
Yes, true. So
Just
anyhow,
hosting a podcast.
Right? I'm qualified for this. The president and the leaders of Planet Spaceball, they have a really serious environmental problem, right? They've wasted nearly all of their own fresh air. And it really sounds like what's going on today. The solution is not conservation. The solution is to just steal everyone else's atmosphere.
Score.
Right? It just makes sense. It's like
5-finger
capitalism
discount.
just rolled up into a whole movie. So to force King Roland into giving them the combination to the planetary shield, they decide to kidnap Vespa.
I mean, surprisingly good villain plan for such a silly movie.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And Planet Spaceball destroyed its own environment, and instead of changing anything, they're just entitled to everyone else's resources.
Yeah, and
they learn from the best.
God, right? And the president, he's not exactly like projecting confidence, right? He's again bringing this back up to future times. He's corrupt. He's incompetent. He's probably pooping himself. He's surrounded with people who aren't particularly good at their jobs. He's basically running an entire planet through panic and shortcuts and poopy pants, which unfortunately is one part of the movie that doesn't require much suspension of disbelief. Yeah.
Sorry. We watched this movie and it hit a little too close to home a lot of times.
It sure did. It's like watching Idiocracy in a way.
It really is.
Yeah.
But then we get Dark Helmet. The mission to capture Vespa is handed to Dark Helmet, played by Rick Moranis. He commands the enormous Spaceball 1 alongside Colonel Sanders. Dark Helmet has the appearance and supernatural abilities of Dark Vader, but none of the dignity. Honestly, Dark Helmet might be the best decision in this entire movie. Rick Moranis is physically the opposite of Darth Vader. He is small. His voice is not intimidating. And this helmet is so comically oversized, but he really thinks he's terrifying.
Yes.
He really thinks he's doing something.
Yeah. What he doesn't know is he's actually inspiring somebody to create the Funko company and create Pops. Because he basically just looks like a human pop in this movie.
He's got the Napoleon syndrome so bad.
Yes, but that's why it works.
It is.
If they cast some huge guy and simply made Darth Vader kind of dumb, it probably wouldn't have been nearly as funny.
No.
But Rick Moranis, plays him like somebody who desperately believes that everybody else thinks that he's intimidating. And Moranis just crushes it. He's so good in like everything. Man,
so funny.
Yeah, he's so funny. The second that giant helmet opens up and his little ass head is underneath it, like the character makes sense. You get the joke. Done.
It's perfect.
Yeah. Next, we move on and we meet some more characters. We meet Lone Starr and his sidekick Barf, and they are aboard their flying Winnebago, the Eagle 5. So Lone Starr is a space mercenary with this mysterious past. And Barf, who is played by John Candy, is a Moog, which is half man and half dog, right? Makes perfect sense.
Exactly what you think it is.
Yeah. The pair also own a large amount of money to the gangster Pizza the Hut, who's disgusting.
So gross.
Yeah.
Luke Starr is basically Han Solo, mixed with a little bit of Luke Skywalker. He has Han's attitude and lifestyle, but eventually gets Luke's like mystical hero story.
Yep. And then you got John Candy playing this dog person who says he's his own best friend. Like,
perfect.
I don't need any other character development. We're
That's
good,
just what it is.
Right? Pizza the Hut sounds delicious, but is actually just disgusting. He's not threatening or mean. He's just physically revolting. It's just a
so
big,
gross looking.
big ass pile of cheese, pepperoni, and grease. Every time somebody touches him, like part of him comes off, and it makes his eventual death from eating himself like really completely believable in this world. But it's still just so gross.
It's so gross and strange.
Yeah.
But we move into the rescue. King Roland contacts Lone Starr and offers him a huge reward for rescuing Vespa. Since the reward would erase his debt to Pizza the Hut, Lone Starr and Barf race towards the ship just as Dark Helmet starts to close in. They rescue Vespa and dot moments before Spaceballs capture them. And this is kind of finally where the main group comes together. Immediately, Lone Starr and Vespa hate each other, which again, very familial territory.
Mm-hmm. But I like that they don't immediately turn that into a romance.
I'm so glad.
Right?
They needed to hate each other for a minute. It was so reasonable.
Yeah, and they're genuinely, like, they're annoyed with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Barf, who's just happy to be there.
Just like a dog.
Yeah.
He's just excited that there's people.
Yep, he's just, he's achieved his emotional health that everyone else in this movie could learn from.
Love him. Love.
He's
Favorite
great.
character.
Now, next, we come into one of my favorite ongoing jokes in the movie is the ludicrous speed, right? So, unable to catch the Eagle 5 at normal speed, Dark Helmet says Spaceball 1 needs to go beyond light speed, beyond ridiculous speed, and finally, into ludicrous speed. So, the ship, of course, overshoots the Lone Star completely, and Dark Helmet, he's thrown around the bridge of the ship, and it's silly.
Ludicrous speed is one of those jokes from the movie that kind of escaped the movie. Like, people still use it to a degree.
Yeah, yep. And the best part is that Dark Helmet demanding it and then immediately realizing it was just a horrible idea, right?
It was beautiful.
Yeah, he's like, "What's the matter, Colonel Sanders? Chicken?" And then moments later, plastered against the ship, like just smacked against it. It's basically every bad management decision ever. Somebody demands something ridiculous, everyone warns them, they do it anyway, and then everybody has to deal with the consequences and clean up the mess. So
yeah. But you know what? They do end up crashing on Vega. So Eagle 5 runs out of fuel, crashes on the desert moon of Vega. Lone Star, Vespa, Barf, and Dot set out on foot, carrying Vespa's enormous amount of luggage.
Matching.
I don't know where she fit this into her little Mercedes takeoff or where any of this came from, but there's so much luggage. And then Lone Star just kind of refuses to deal with it anymore, and they collapse in the desert. This section kind of shifts from Star Wars parody into Lawrence of Arabia territory.
Yeah.
A bit more niche. Vespa's luggage is so dumb, but it's such an effective character joke. They're fleeing an evil empire. They're dying in the desert. And she has packed these industrial-sized hair dryers because it is a necessity.
Yeah.
Your hair needs to look good at all times.
But somehow, this giant hair dryer becomes important later. And
thank God.
Yeah, that's commitment to the bit.
They lugged it around. Might as well use it.
If you're going to introduce a 6-foot hair dryer, that thing better have a third act payoff because they paid some people on the props department to make that.
That thing was crazy also.
And they would have made it for just like those few seconds because it was pretty funny.
It was great.
Yeah. Next, we move into the Dink Dinks and yogurt.
Love them.
Gross. This group is rescued, or the group is rescued by these tiny Dink Dinks who lead them to the underground temple of Yogurt. Yogurt, who's played by Mel Brooks, is this universe's answer to Yoda, basically. And he teaches Lone Star about a mystical power called the Schwartz.
The Schwartz.
Yes, he is also extremely interested in merchandising.
You got to have a marketing king on your team. Yogurt is where the movie completely stops pretending the fourth wall exists.
Yep.
He knows he's in a movie. He has the T-shirts. He has the lunchbox. He has the breakfast cereal, the flamethrower.
The flamethrower!
He has his own store in his house for his own movie.
Yes.
And he's prepared. He's going to be a millionaire after this.
Yeah. The flamethrower is the best one.
Oh, by far.
Yeah, when he's like, kids love this. Like, of course they do.
Of course they do. Who doesn't love a flamethrower?
Yeah. It gets even funnier when you know that there was a real behind-the-scenes reason for this merchandising joke, okay? So Mel Brooks had gotten George Lucas's blessing to parody Star Wars, but one of the conditions was that they could not compete with Star Wars by selling Spaceballs merchandise.
Still mad about it, personally.
Yeah, so Brooks responds by putting fake merchandise everywhere in the movie just to be petty.
It's beautiful.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
God, I wanted so much of that merch too. And Yogurt also tells Lone Star that the Schwartz is inside of him. He gives him a ring to help focus it. And we start to get into the actual hero part of Lone Star's story. So we move into back aboard Spaceball 1, kind of shift back. Dark Helmet and Colonel Sanders cannot figure out where they went because they overshot so bad doing ludicrous speed. And their solution is to obtain a VHS copy of Spaceballs, the movie they are currently in, and fast forward through it until they reach the present moment. And honestly, probably one of my favorite jokes throughout the movie. They're literally watching the movie to figure out what happens next.
Yeah, I feel like
Perfectly
entire
planned.
genres of movies have been created around this similar,
It's wonderful.
yeah, I don't know what words I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about. Anyhow,
Yeah.
the conversation it's fantastic, and it's all about where are we? When did this happen? When will there be now? Will it be soon? It's like an Abbott and Costello routine that I have just butchered, but it's around the concept of home video. So put it all together, and it's funny in your head, right?
And that's what's funny.
See?
Is that the joke is only becomes better once people actually started watching the movie that way at home. They're basically using streaming analytics 30 years early.
Yeah.
But it's a wonderful scene that they just kind of pulled out, and it's one of the few movies that has that kind of moment in it. And we keep going. Dark Helmet discovers Yogurt's location from watching the movie and uses the Schwartz to impersonate King Roland's voice. Vespa believes that her father is calling out for her and leaves the temple and is, captured by Spaceballs. For all the Dark Helmet's incompetence, this is actually one of the few times this plan works out exactly as intended. This was a great plan on his part.
Yeah, because he stops trying to overpower everybody. And he just manipulates Vespa.
Yeah.
So it's also one of the few moments where the Schwartz actually seems like legitimately dangerous.
Like, oh no, something bad can happen in this world.
Until this point, it's just been kind of like another Star Wars joke. But now Dark Helmet is going to use it to exploit somebody emotionally.
Basics.
Yep. So now we get to the combing of the desert, one of my favorite
Love
scenes.
it.
And before locating Yogurt's hideout, Dark Helmet orders his troops to comb the desert. And because this is Spaceballs, the soldiers literally they take all the commands literally. So they pull out this massive comb. Think like a comb you pull out of your pocket, little
comb.
coming back. Just this massive one, and they start combing through the desert literally. So it's a good little gag.
It's probably the purest example of this movie's humor. You just take a really common expression, interpret it so literally, and completely commit to the bit.
Yeah.
And it worked out wonderfully.
And the best part is the group using the tiny comb. So they've clearly been assigned with like a completely impossible task with completely inadequate equipment. And I feel like we've all worked at places like that.
Oh, yeah.
But
we can
and then
all
you look
relate.
over and there's the guy that has all the right equipment, like the massive comb. And you're
yeah.
like, well, why didn't I get that?
I like to believe that they kind of like raided a giant's like hair drawer and found all of his combs, and that's why they have so many different ones.
That's a good theory. I like that.
So they're combing the desert, and Dark Helmet threatens King Roland until he gives up the combination through Druidia's shield. The shield that keeps her a virgin, and the combination is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which also happens to be President Skroob's luggage combination.
Oh.
Meanwhile, Vespa and Dot escape their guards after Vespa's hair is damaged during a gunfight. I'd have to go too. And this is where the earlier princess jokes finally kind of pay off. Vespa's been portrayed as obsessed with her appearance, but damaging her hair doesn't make her helpless. It makes her literally murderous.
Yeah, she goes full Rambo.
I respect
Which,
the escalation.
side note, there's a new Rambo movie coming out, and I'm real excited about it. So, anyhow,
Can't wait.
I respect the escalation.
100%. I respect it. Like that is the only logical next step.
Yeah. Like you can kidnap her, you can threaten her father, lock her in a cell, but shoot her hair? Everybody dies.
Yeah, no, it took too long to grow it.
Yeah. So.
But Lone Starr and Barf, they show up to rescue. They infiltrate the Spaceball prison and they help rescue Vespa and Dot. During their escape, they battle the guards and race back to Eagle 5. And by this point, Lone Starr isn't doing this for money anymore. Pizza the Hut kind of already died. The original financial reason for rescuing Vespa is kind of gone.
And that's an important little character shift.
It's such a shift.
He could leave, but instead he goes back because he actually cares about her. The movie doesn't stop and announce that Lone Star's grown as a person. It just lets his motivation change, which is probably more character development than anyone expected from a movie containing Pizza the Hut.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That
there is
was some
actually a
character
plot
growth.
with this movie, which is kind of wild.
Yeah, and it's like well done.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so strange. But after escaping, the group stops at a space diner. and
As one does.
And a nearby customer suddenly begins convulsing before an alien bursts from his chest.
Typical Denny's on a Friday night, you know?
Yeah, it's what you see at a diner. The customer is played by John Hurt, deliberately recreating his famous death scene from Alien. And it's such a good cameo. 'Cause John Hurt plays it completely straight face.
Yeah.
Like, he took this so serious.
Yeah. And then he looks down and he realizes this shit's happening to him again, right? And his reaction is basically, oh no, not again. And then the alien comes out and starts singing and dancing. And that's when Alien turns into like Looney Tunes. It's great.
It was wonderful. It was such a good Alien reference to throw in there.
It really was. Then the Mega Maid steals some air. So Dark Helmet, he transforms Spaceball 1 into Mega Maid, which is an enormous robotic maid equipped with a vacuum cleaner. Think the precursor to Roomba. Mega Maid, it breaches the planetary shield and it begins literally vacuuming the atmosphere off the planet.
The entire villain plan has been building towards this whole time, too. They're going to steal the air. How do you steal an atmosphere? Apparently, just a ginormous vacuum cleaner.
It's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And after everything else in this movie, a giant French maid vacuuming a planet, it feels logical.
It feels like the only answer, actually.
Yeah. This is also where Lone Starr finally has to stop running and actually become the hero. So we do get it. We do get a hero situation going on here. Lone Starr and Barf, they attack the Mega Maid and they fire raspberry jam across its radar system. And the radar is literally jammed. Can't argue with logic, right? This gives Lone Starr the opening that he needs in order to board the ship.
You know, another phrase taken completely literal. My type of humor.
See, and this is where I realized that Spaceballs is basically the same movie as 8 Mile.
I felt it coming. I knew it was going to happen.
It's another.
Okay, so hear me out. Lone Starr is an underdog with a mysterious past. Nobody expects much from him.
Totally, yeah.
But then he gets one shot, one opportunity, and he has to confront the guy who's been intimidating him the entire movie. And the pressure is enormous. And instead of mom's spaghetti, he got raspberry jam all over the radar. Boom.
I knew this was coming. I knew there was going to be an 8 Mile reference today. I just didn't know when or where or how.
Yeah, I did it.
And, you know, I don't even think it's the worst comparison you've made so far.
You can't prove it's wrong.
Yeah.
Lone Starr is basically Rabbit with a Winnebago. Like, it's Rabbit with a home.
I'm really upset how many things you've connected to 8 Mile successfully.
You're welcome. It's a gift.
I can tell. All right. I'm going to get it together eventually. So, inside Mega Maid, Lone Starr finally confronts Dark Helmet. Both men have used the Schwartz to create energy blades, turning their showdown into an aggressively unsubtle parody of the lightsaber duel. It's blatantly what it is. This is where Dark Helmet gives us the ridiculous explanation of how he knows Lone Starr. He's his father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate.
You nailed it.
Means nothing. It's beautiful.
Except that Reddit has spent a lot of time trying to solve this.
Of course they have.
Yeah, right. There are people who have built family trees around the line and concluded that Dark Helmet may genuinely have been Lone Starr's former roommate, or at least the former roommate of one of his cousins. Which means that one of the dumbest throwaway lines in the movie has received more like genealogical analysis than some royal families. Because that's the internet.
I'm not mad at it. Lone Starr finally realizes he doesn't need Yogurt's ring to use the Schwartz. He defeats Dark Helmet and reverses Mega Maid's vacuum, returning the Druid's atmosphere. With Mega Maid defeated, Dark Helmet, Colonel Sanders, and President Skroob accidentally trigger the ship's self-destruct system. They discover that someone installed a cancellation button, but it does not work. Yeah, the remaining crew abandon ship while the villains are left behind. And I love the idea that this enormously advanced spacecraft has a giant self-destruct button sitting completely exposed, and B, the backup button doesn't work.
Yeah, the cancellation system's broken.
No one thought to check it?
I think it's one of the most realistic technological things in the entire movie.
Unfortunately, yeah.
I don't even need to explain that analogy. Like, it just seems like that's how technology works a lot of the time, especially around full moons. At least it does around here.
Our technology likes to crap out at least once a month.
Yeah, it's
at least
so
once.
odd. I think it's telling us to have a vacation, and we ignore it.
Said stop.
Yeah, but anyhow, the remains of Mega Maid crash into a nearby planet. Two apes on horseback discover Dark Helmet and Sanders and Skroob emerging from this wreckage, and they conclude that humans have destroyed their world.
What?
Yeah, it's not a bad assumption.
You know, after spending most of the movie parodying Star Wars, Brooks slipping in one Final of the Apes or one final Planet of the Apes joke was just well done.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. It knows that Star Wars is the main target, but it doesn't become a 90-minute checklist of Star Wars references. Thank God, because I don't like Star Wars. But anything in science fiction's fair game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they did great with the movies they chose to make fun of.
They did.
You know, Lone Star returns Vespa to Druidia and initially leaves rather than interrupt her rescheduled wedding to Prince Valium. Yogurt then contacts him and reveals that the medallion Lone Star has carried his entire life proves that he is actually a prince. I don't know why I didn't want to tell him that earlier. Lone Star races back to Druidia, stops the wedding, and reunites with Vespa. And this is probably the most straightforward fairy tale ending in the entire movie. Lone Star gets Vespa. Vespa doesn't have to marry Valium. And because Lone Star is secret royalty, everyone gets to obey the princess marriage rules anyway.
And that's convenient.
Yeah, it's a real convenient wrap-up.
Yep. I do love that after an entire movie about rejecting Star Wars logic, the solution is still basically, don't worry, he's secretly a prince.
Yeah, it all works out in the end.
Whatever. At least Vespa doesn't have to spend the rest of her life trying to keep Prince Valium awake.
Thankfully.
Yeah. I just realized, too, that keeping Prince Valium awake is just like also a pun on that Valium makes you sleepy. And it just took me until right now to get that.
It's taking you this whole time?
Yeah. There's a lot of deep cuts, you know?
There's a lot of subtle jokes in this movie that the more you rewatch it, I think the more you can pick up. All right, so...
Oh, guess what?
Is it time?
Is it time? It's fun facts time.
Finally.
Hit us with it.
All right, let's get into the production stuff. Because Spaceballs has some really good stories behind it, Mel Brooks didn't just make a Star Wars parody and hope George Lucas wouldn't care. He actually contacted George Lucas, received his blessing. The major condition, of course, being that Spaceballs could not compete by selling Star Wars merchandising, which we kind of already talked about a little bit. But it's honestly pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it inspired one of the best jokes with all this Spaceballs merchandise.
Wonderful.
I love that he was just like, you know what, fuck it. Let's just go ahead and make fun of this restriction inside the movie. I want to say that he probably, like, that had more value to him than the actual value of selling the merch. But it would have sold so much anyway.
It would have sold so much
right.
merch.
But the merchandise exists everywhere in the movie, specifically because they just weren't supposed to sell it in real life. So I love his commitment to being an ass.
Gotta love it.
Yeah.
Brooks and co-writers Thomas Meehan and Ronnie Graham, I really hope I got the names right for that, worked on the screenplay for about 2 years and then went through roughly 8 drafts. So as intentionally stupid as the movie feels, the stupidity was extensively revised.
That's comforting.
Yeah.
Somebody rewrote Pizza the Hut several times, and then we're like, nah, we got it. This is it.
I want to know what they changed it between a few times.
Yeah.
You know, there's a few corrections.
Being in that writer's room would have been hilarious.
Oh, it would have been wonderful.
Yeah.
It would have been the best. Another correction to something that gets repeated online, the bulk of the movie's visual effects were handled by Apogee Incorporated, the company founded by former ILM effects pioneer John Dreiska. It's frequently repeated that ILM itself created all the effects for Spaceballs, but that's not true.
And I appreciate you making that distinction, because apparently we have learned that confidently repeating movie trivia from the internet is how I end up getting angry messages later.
Woo! We love it. Mel Brooks also played 2 major characters, President Skroob and Yogurt. There's a weird production detail involving Yogurt. Brooks had an allergic reaction to the gold makeup used for the character, so Yogurt's scenes had to be filmed out of sequence to give his skin time to recover.
Fun fact about that, I don't know if it's still done, but like there used to be like trace amounts of actual gold in these things. And what would happen when they paint that skin over with it is it seals up the pores and it doesn't allow the body to like sweat and stuff. So then you get like toxin building up in your system very, very quickly.
You can get
there's a lot of
poisoning from stuff like that.
Yeah. But there's a lot of like, I've heard about this in like the art world, people like painting their entire body for a thing, but it's like not like an airbrush paint, you know, like paint and stuff, and then they get really sick from it. So anyhow, that was his commitment to a Yoda joke. So
I mean, that's quite the commitment.
Yeah.
The risk of getting metal poisoning and having your full body painted, I'd say that's committed.
Yep.
Bill Pullman was also still relatively new to movies when he played Lone Star. And according to Pullman, he had not even seen Star Wars before making Spaceballs, which is fine because I watched Spaceballs before Star Wars anyways, which is kind of incredible considering he's playing a combination of two of the main characters. And he did really well with it.
He did. Or it just goes to show you how generic those characters were and that...
Oh, is that it?
Probably. I don't know. I'm not a Star Wars person.
I'm not either. Yeah.
Did you find any fun Reddit fan theories?
Oh, we found so many Reddit fan theories. I had a hard time picking. So I went looking through Reddit, of course, and there's just an absurd... there's an absurd amount of things. But people have thought surprisingly hard and long about this movie. The first theory involves Dark Helmet's relationship with Lone Star. Dark Helmet clearly knows who Lone Star is before they meet during their final fight. He recognizes him by name immediately in like the beginning of the movie. Mm-hmm. Later, he gives that ridiculous family connection, being like a super distant former roommate. But people are on there arguing that this means Dark Helmet may actually know Lone Star's real family very closely.
Well, if that's true, Dark Helmet potentially knew that Lone Star was a prince before Lone Star did, which means he could have ended the entire movie like way earlier by just being like, hey, you're royalty. So instead he was like, violence.
Yeah.
I love it.
Very Dark Helmet of him.
Yeah.
There's even more ridiculous version where people actually worked through the wording of Dark Helmet's relationship and concluded that he and Lone Star might genuinely have been former roommates. You know, two of them are roomies.
Yeah, I love that. It turns their final epic confrontation into an argument between two guys who used to share an apartment. My hot take, they used to be lovers.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Makes sense,
So,
makes sense.
So
But it
Dark
was such a
Helmet...
heated battle.
Yeah, Dark Helmet is not Darth Vader. He's just your old roommate or ex who never returned your security deposit and dipped out on the lease.
A little too close to home for that one.
sorry.
Another theory focuses on Yogurt and the Schwartz. So this theory argues that Yogurt may actually be teaching Lone Star the equivalent of the dark side. The argument comes partly from the word Schwartz being associated with darkness and from Dark Helmet explicitly explaining that the Schwartz has an upside and a downside.
Mm-hmm. And which would mean that Yogurt might secretly be the most dangerous person in the movie.
He is in marketing.
Yeah.
So.
He teaches a stranger like supernatural powers and hands him jewelry, sells him merch, refuses to fully explain his ancestry, and then he just disappears. So perfect cult leader.
I love how he didn't want to tell him anything until it was like the very last second. He's like, oh, by the way.
Yeah, by the way.
Just letting you know. And then there's also somebody on Reddit who tried to defend the comb the desert scene as a legitimate strategy.
Oh, really?
Let's think about that one. So their argument is that Dark Helmet may have already suspected Yogurt had hidden a base somewhere beneath the desert. So physically searching the surface, like looking with your eyes wasn't enough. We got to dig into it to see.
Yeah.
We got to find this trap door.
I don't know. They got giant combs.
I know.
One team has a giant afro pick. So I don't know. I don't think logic improves that one.
I don't think so either. It just takes the fun out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just have a good time with it.
And I mean, I think the reason that Spaceballs has lasted as long, it understands the movie it's making fun of, and it understands that it's a parody. Mel Brooks wasn't worried about parodying science fiction because he hated it. He was parodying it because audience knew these movies well enough to recognize every cliche and every joke.
Mm-hmm. And that's why this movie doesn't feel mean ever.
Not at all.
Not a bit. Like, it's making fun of Star Wars, but it's having fun in that world. You know, like, you get all the spaceship battles and heroes, princess, magic, blah, 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 blah. But it just asks, like, what if Darth Vader was, like, 5'6" and just really insecure? Great question.
Honestly, pretty relatable.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty normal idea.
Yeah.
And I mean, some of the jokes are incredibly stupid, but that's kind of what makes them like painfully clever.
Yep.
And the movie throws so many at you that if one joke doesn't work, another one's going to work. Probably about 10 seconds later.
Yeah. And that's how I had to watch it and enjoy it, was like, don't analyze the science or the
No.
plot. Definitely don't analyze Dark Helmet's family tree unless you're on Reddit with a bunch of free time.
A lot of free time.
Yeah,
That was a long thread to get through.
Yeah, you just you have to practice radical acceptance and accept that a giant vacuum cleaner stealing a planet's oxygen is, and that John Candy could be half dog. Like, once you accept that, things just get a lot smoother.
You know, John Candy's vibe does give golden retriever dog.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we've gone through Reddit, we've gone through the whole movie. So you have to now let us know your favorite Spaceballs joke, because I think everyone has a different one, and I'm really surprised by that. We were kind of talking about it around like the workshop, and we couldn't all agree on like one.
But more importantly, you need to let me know in the comments if you now recognize that Spaceballs and 8 Mile are basically the same movie. One shot, one opportunity, raspberry jam. I got all the evidence on my side.
You really do.
Yeah, I do. I hope you enjoyed our movie review.
I hope you loved it.
Yeah.
We loved watching this one, I will say.
It was a good time. I guess we got to put out our thumbs and give our vote on that, right?
We do.
All right. 1, 2, and 3.
It made me laugh.
It made me laugh. I actually really liked it. I loved everything about the spitefulness of Mel Brooks. It's just tilted to the side because I hate science fiction, and it was hard to watch because of that.
But it's perfectly making fun of it.
Yeah.
And it's making fun of all the things you hate about it, all the plot holes.
I know. I just had to keep reminding myself, like, this is like watching Scary Movie. This is like watching Scary Movie, except it had a plot.
Which was so strange for a parody movie to have like a true plot and character development. And like just a joke every other line.
Yeah.
It was
well,
crazy.
that's because
it was wonderful.
That's because they modeled it after 8 Mile.
It is. Unfortunately.
Of course it is. We also made some really cool jewelry named after this movie, and it's called Spaceballs because there are 3 balls on it, and if you pretend this is a spaceship, it's very large. There you go.
That's it.
It's a super cool piece, though. You get 3 little beads in one. It's 14 karat gold. Comes in a bunch of different colors. There's a threadless pin on the back of it that's
Cute
steel.
little beaded bar. Super simple. Goes everywhere. Looks great in like a stacked lobe. Looks wonderful in a helix, a tragus.
Yeah.
I love these on a tragus.
Yeah, they look awesome. It's like a little bit over 3 millimeters tall by like 1 millimeter wide. So it's really dainty. It's a great accent piece to put places. I like them on traguses a lot. I think they look really neat there. But they're super versatile.
Love these paired up with our, what is it, our Goonies charm that has a little beaded accent on the bottom.
Yes.
It's so incredibly cute together. I can't stand it. I love it.
It looks really cute.
It's awesome. And you can save 10% with the coupon code BARF.
Easy.
You
sure can. And
there's before I realized what I was saying. I said it so excitedly. Just BARF.
Yep. BARF. Yeah, there's no limit on that. You can get as many as you want to. It is available wholesale only, not to retail customers.
Sorry,
not.
But wholesalers, you can get as many as you want.
Stock
you can
at
get
Studio.
multiple colors, all of them, all 10% off.
Yep. And I don't have the graphics for it because I forgot to put them on this computer. But we just launched the coolest new thing ever called JTW Plaid. Because Plaid is 1 faster than ludicrous speed.
Crazy.
Right?
Crazy. Plaid.
So we got JTW Plaid now, and what that does is for $99 a year, you get free shipping on all your orders, just like that. And to make everything even better, we're going to give you an instant $25 credit to use on the website, so you can get yourself something pretty too. You know, I know we're crazy over
You
here.
can get yourself all the Spaceballs.
Yeah, but head over to the website, look for JTW Plaid on there. Like I said, it's $99 gets you covered for a whole year, free shipping on all your orders. If you order more than like 5 times a year, like you're golden, and that's most of our customers. So I'd highly take advantage of that, especially once you factor in like the $25 store credit as well. I should have thought this through a little bit better, but
we'll have some marketing coming
right?
soon. Don't worry.
It's all good.
You'll get the full vibe soon. But you're getting the exclusive first sneak peek preview announcement.
You sure are. Yeah.
Look at you go.
Put that in your back pocket.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tell people you're fancy.
Let them know you're Plaid.
Yeah. Okay, that's all we got.
Yep, that's it. All right. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
I love this like green haze I get.